NFL.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Indianapolis Colts versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
It is a 51-degree sunny day at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The Colts leaving behind the snow in Indianapolis to play their second straight on the road. And with a record of 3-3, they're tied for second, one game behind first place Buffalo, while in the AFC Central, Cincinnati at 4-2, and they are one game in front of the pack. And we welcome you. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert, along with Bob Trumpy. And this is a matchup of two teams that have come off defeats. Both clubs playing poorly last week. And the major concern for the Indianapolis Colts, Eric Dickerson, bothered by a strained hamstring. He has not been a part of the offense the last couple of weeks. Only 35 yards in 13 carries last week. And he says he's feeling better today.
Yeah, but Marv, I don't think there's a worse injury for a coach, a player, or a football team to have than a lingering injury to a star like Eric Dickerson. Yes, he says he's fine and he can carry the ball, but he hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game the last 4 weeks. What the Colts need today is a 100-yard rushing performance from somebody. Dickerson, Bentley, Ivy, Joe Hunter. Somebody's got to run the ball for the Colts.
All right, now the Cincinnati Bengals come into today's play overall ranked number 2 offensively in the AFC, but they've predominantly done it on the ground. Boomer Esiason would like to get his wideouts, Tim McGee and Eddie Brown, more involved. Do you see the philosophy changing?
They almost have to, Marv, because last week in the first half, the play selection of the Cincinnati Bengals, as you see in those 20 first down situations, too much emphasis on the run. Last year, Eddie Brown was sensational. They've got to get the ball to the outside receivers and down the field.
The Indianapolis Colts won the toss, and they will receive. So this is Lee Johnson getting set to kick it away to Clarence Verdun and Andre Rison. Verdun on the return. And he is well covered. One of the problems the Bengals have had this year has been on kickoff coverage, and they are well aware of Clarence Verdun, the 4-year man out of southwestern Louisiana. Here are the Colts offensively. Couple of Pro Bowlers up front. In the center, Ray Donaldson, and the left tackle, Chris Hinton. The quarterback, Jack Trudeau, who took over for the injured Chris Chandler, coming off a poor performance last week, only 12 for 28. And in passing situations, it is called the Rocket in the Colts terminology. James Pruitt and Clarence Verdun check in. So a first down at the 10. And it is right to the ground. Cincinnati Bengals all over Eric Dickerson. Now look at the Bengals front seven. They are small, but they are quick, particularly up front with Scow, Crumry, and Buck, and a smaller group of linebackers, but they have done the job. This is a look at the passing situation, what the Bengals call the spinner. Clinton, Jackson, and Bussey coming on, and this is the normal secondary. Second down and 8. The ball is at the 12-yard line. We're just underway in Cincinnati. Albert Bentley making his way to the 15-yard line. He is playing with an injured shoulder, although he, like Dickerson, says he's feeling much better.
One of the few times you'll see both backs sitting in the backfield as Bentley goes off limping slightly. Very seldom do you see the Indianapolis Colts go with 2 running backs in the backfield. Dickerson, the lead blocker, he barely makes contact on Joe Kelly. Good support by Ricky Dixon, brings up 3rd down and 3. 3rd down and 5, excuse me.
And Trudeau to throw for the first time, and he has the first down. Andre Rison on the reception. He's the rookie from Michigan State. Ron Meyer telling us last night that he plans to get Rison into the game plan more frequently. Lewis Billups, the left corner, made the stop.
Bob, I like the comment made by Billy Brooks, his receiving partner. I asked him about young Rison last night, and he said he's got great acceleration out of the break. Some of the best acceleration out of the break that Billy Brooks has ever seen. That is a key attribute to a great receiver.
Rison, the #1 draft pick of the Colts. First down at the 23. Double tight end Beach and Boyer, and Trudeau to throw it again. Going sideline, intended for Mark Boyer, covered by Lewis Phillips.
Now see, this is one of the problems that I believe the Colts are now suffering with. They really haven't decided exactly what their offense is, even through 6 games of the '89 season. They'd like to give the ball continually to Eric Dickerson. The more in the second half, the better. But they keep trying to dink it around to stay away from the 8-man defensive fronts that they face. So I still believe they have an identity crisis as to exactly what they want to accomplish offensively. And Ron Meyer, Larry Keenan, the offensive coordinator, I believe, are aware of the problem.
And the Colts second down and 10 from the 23. Trudeau getting the protection, and he has Brooks. What a catch! Bill Brooks, who had only 1 reception last week, making good on a 32-yard pass play, and he did it in front of Fulcher and Thomas.
This is perfectly thrown by Jack Trudeau. You can see the coverage by Eric Thomas is good. They both jump. It just goes over Eric Thomas's hands. Tremendous concentration on the football by Billy Brooks, and he makes the catch. Now, he had 2 straight 100-yard receiving days. Stopped last week in Denver, and that is a perfect play against great coverage.
And Bob Brooks' last 15 catches, as you see, including that one, have all been for first down. Dickerson trying to get outside, has hemmed in by the combination of Reggie Williams and Joe Kelly, the inside and outside linebackers. Eric Dickerson, who last year ran for 1,659 yards, showing no signs of wear and tear. Suddenly this season, hit by injury. That strained right hamstring has not gone away. We chatted with Eric 2 weeks ago prior to his game with Denver, and he is so frustrated because he has never had an injury that has stayed with him this long. Second and 5 from the 41. Dickerson. And the Bengals strung him out, played him well. David Fulcher pushing him out of bounds.
Marv, you can already see what the Colts are constantly facing with Dickerson as the only back in the backfield. Look at all the people at the line of scrimmage, cheating the line of scrimmage. The Bengals have 10 players within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. And this is a race to the sideline. Fulcher there to get Dickerson out of bounds. Brings up another third down and about 4, I'd say. Last time they converted.
And the roaring here in the jungle. It was very quiet last week. Sam Weiss saying the mystique was gone during the course of the game against Miami. And as you can see, penalty flags thrown throughout the field.
False start, number 64, offense.
That was Ben Ott, the right guard. He comes out of his stance, but this is a good idea. They're going to run a quarterback draw here. If you continue that replay, you'll see that the design of the play is a quarterback draw. That time, the Bengals again had 10 people at the line of scrimmage. See? Going on the draw. I'm not sure he would have made the yardage, but that's a nice idea up through there.
So it sends it back to a third down and 9 at the 45. This is the 8th play of a drive that began down at the 10-yard line.
Look at that, Mark. 10 guys at the line of scrimmage.
Trudeau taking the look, and it is picked off. Rookie Dixon, the free safety, intercepting Jack Trudeau. And for Dixon, his 3rd intercept of the season.
I think Jack Trudeau's mad at himself. This is his 4th interception. Billy Brooks was wide open on the left-hand side of the screen. He chooses to go down the field. The ball floats a little bit. Dixon's right there in coverage, and the Bengals come out and go right to the line of scrimmage.
Eric Ball, James Brooks on the running backs. Good play action. Here's Brooks out to the 31-yard line. Stopped by Fred Young, the inside linebacker. Cincinnati's hurry-up is called the attack offense. Their goal to catch the defense to combat situation substitutions. As you look at their alignment, Reimer's back from the shoulder injury. And Brooks and Ball are the running backs. Ball also bothered by a bruised knee, and the spread right, the passing situation. The tight end Caddis comes on, so they go double. Tight end, 2nd down and 5 right here from the 31. And Esiason gets it away and was almost intercepted. The strong safety Michael Ball had a crack at it.
You know who put pressure on Boomer Esiason? Chip Banks. 51. He has not played in the NFL since 1987. His second defensive play, a lot like he played with Cleveland a number of years ago, puts pressure on the quarterback. He's starting. That's unbelievable.
He was signed earlier this week following a 90-day drug rehabilitation program, and he is right in the starting lineup. A roll of the dice, and that Banks has been arrested on drug-related charges 5 times over a 2-year period. In the eyes of the NFL, Banks' next positive test for drugs would mean lifetime banishment. Nice hookup with Eddie Brown coming out of the backfield. Boomer Esiason off the fake was able to find Brown, who was stopped by Eugene Daniel.
Now once again they go right to the line of scrimmage, and I think a lot of people misunderstand this offense. This is not a hurry-up offense. This is basically an offense without a huddle. They like to stand at the line of scrimmage and identify the defense, and when they get a defensive front that they like, they'll go to the line of scrimmage to keep it there. They have a code system to call all plays and snap counts, a lot of communication down the line, and they run it without a huddle.
1st down from the 43. Eric Hall, the rookie from UCLA, a punishing runner, has great strength and has been seeing the playing time, but with the injury suffered by Ickey Woods. A look at that front 7 for the Indianapolis Colts. And in passing situations, Banks, Surratt, and Young depart. And their passing specialists, led by Ezra Johnson, who is among the leaders in sacks in the AFC with 7, will come on. A look at the normal secondary for the Colts. Chris Good is back in the starting lineup. So limited action because of a hamstring injury last week. 2nd down, 6. Cincinnati from their 47. No score. 5 minutes gone by. 1st quarter. And Esiason again throwing high. From time to time he'll have problems by throwing the high ball. That was intended for Eddie Brown.
That time once again the Colts came with a double outside linebacker blitz. Banks on one side, Dwayne Pickett on the other. Now in the beginning of this season, Indianapolis came with a lot of blitz, and they really got burned by the Rams in San Francisco. Watch the pressure from both sides. Pickett is on the right. Banks is on the left, and it just hurries Esiason enough that he can't make the completion.
Mike Martin now flanked to the left side for this 3rd down and 6. Esiason slipping, and he'll run for it. Has the 1st down and more. Sliding to the 30. He went 23 yards.
Certainly been one of the major factors in the success of the Bengals has been the running of Boomer Esiason. He's in that category of player, Marv, at quarterback that I call creator. Never gives up on a play. He has a bad left ankle that's heavily taped, but still he realizes his importance to the offense and is willing to run the ball.
And as you can see, Boomer has run the ball very well, leading AFC quarterbacks in that department, and he's the top-ranked AFC quarterback. Here's the draw for Brooks. Surratt on the tackle, well executed, a big hole for James Brooks. Last week against Miami, 20 carries, 95 yards, but 81 of the yards for Brooks came in the 1st half. He was quiet in the 2nd half. Miami coming off the victory here over Cincinnati in front of Green Bay in the 1st quarter. Nothing else to this point as we check the 10-minute ticker. Marv Albert with Bob Trumpy. 6 minutes have gone by in the 1st quarter, and we have no score.
One of the things about this Bengal offense, James Brooks seems to show up everywhere. Sometimes as a wide receiver, sometimes he's in the double wing. This is a good draw play with a nice block by 82 Rodney Holman. And they measure for the 1st down. It's not enough, but it's just short by inches. One of the most versatile players the game has ever known.
And having another outstanding season. Last year for Brooks, a bounce back after a shaky 1987. Well, they changed the spot on the ball, so it is 2nd and 1 as the Bengals go double tight end. And Brooks makes the turn and is able to slash ahead for the first down. Chris Good on the stop. Sam Weish, master of what he calls the attack offense, and he told us yesterday that he doesn't feel that the Bengals get the benefit of the doubt from the officials when they go to the attack, but he can empathize because Thursday he was on the field, he said, in the role of the referee, and between the attack offense and the Bengals defense trying to match up, he said he just saw bodies hurtling all over the place. He could understand why it's so difficult to officiate.
This is a very difficult team to officiate, Marv. He's right, and so are you.
First down, thank you very much, from the 19-yard line. And again, Esiason on the completion. It's a short pickup for the tight end Rodney Holman, who was met by Fred Young. Check that. Tim McGee on the reception.
This drive started at the 25, and about half the plays the Bengals have gone from the line of scrimmage, and about half they've gone into what they call their sugar huddle, which is just simply a short huddle about 3 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Eddie Brown now to the left side. Tim McGee to the right for the 2nd down and 2. Here's Brooks. Hit down at the 10, short of the first down.
One of the things the Colts defense has to be very aware of, and this is a big defense. This front 7 may be the biggest defense you can find in the American Football Conference. Huge linebackers and even bigger defensive linemen. But this is a very quick Cincinnati Bengals offense, and if the defense starts stretching out laterally across the side of the field, that's exactly what the Bengals are looking for from any defense that they face. Just that stretch of the defense to get Brooks up through there.
This will be the 11th play of the drive, and they have gotten the balance as we discussed right at the start. They're looking for more of a balanced attack. He's gone 5 rushes, 5 passes.
This all after the interception by Ricky Dixon. The Colts had a nice opening drive that was ruined by that interception. But the Bengals have had trouble in the scoring zone here. 10 yards in, they've really struggled throughout this '89 season. I think that's the lack of Ickey Woods.
And a 3rd down, less than a yard. And here is Ball, and he's hit back for a loss. Chip Banks, along with Donnell Thompson, combining to make the stop, and the Bengals not able to pick up the first down. Well, we asked Ron Meyer yesterday, what did he say to Banks, who is just back from drug rehab? Meyer said, well, he told Banks that we're going in with a negative attitude. This is probably going to fail. He said, you're a 2-time loser. One more time and it's over, but we're going to give it a shot. It is up to you. And so Banks right in the starting lineup. And here is Jim Breach to attempt a 30-yard field goal. And it is right there. So Breach now 5 for 5 for the season. And Cincinnati off to the early 3-0 lead.
Back in Cincinnati, that field goal by Jim Breach puts the Bengals up on top. There's Chip Banks on the sideline. Ron Meyer, continuing your story, he told us last night, I asked him, does he have any friends on the team? And he said, well, Dwayne Bickett from the time that they played together. So Dwayne Bickett and Chip Banks are rooming together on this road trip. It's shocking that this guy comes in on Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday practices, Thursday there's 8 inches of snow on the ground, does nothing, and starts on Sunday.
Well, the Colts with a problem at the outside linebacker position since the injury of O'Brien Alston. Quintus McDonald was in there for a couple of games, but now Banks takes over as the starter. Clarence Verdun watched it carry out of bounds, and the Colts going with James Pruitt and Clarence Verdun as the deep man. It's the first time we've seen Pruitt back there.
Well, that's a heck of a concession by the Bengals kickoff team. They'd prefer to give the Colts the ball at the 35 and intentionally kick it out of bounds than give it to Verdun.
And of course, the Bengals have had their difficulties with kickoff coverage. The Indianapolis Colts back to the offense, starting at their 35. They're trailing 3-0 on the 30-yard field goal by Jim Breach. Colts coming at 3-3, tied for second in the AFC East. Dickerson and Bentley are the running backs. Dickerson goes the stiff arm route, but still not able to get outside the way he would like, and Ricky Dixon forced him out.
Cincinnati really cheating that line of scrimmage. They're trying to put as many people up there at the line of scrimmage for lateral pursuit as they possibly can. Now, Dixon is the free safety. He's right at the line of scrimmage to make that tackle.
Dan Marino with a 7-yard touchdown pass to Jim Jensen. Buffalo in front of the Jets. And the other score, Minnesota leading Detroit. Herschel Walker in his second game as a Viking, and Dallas and KC tied at 7. Dallas still looking for win number 1. Second down and 6. And Dickerson coughed it up, and the Bengals recover. Leon White, in his 4th year out of Brigham Young, he has been a big play man after emerging as a starter last season.
Well, it looked like David Fulcher made the initial contact. This is a straight drive blocking by the offensive line. Oh, it's Skip McClendon who hits him, along with 72-58 is Kelly. Leon White, of course, he made the recovery of the fumble.
First out of the 49. Bengals get right to it. That pass intended for McGee, who had his back turned. Chris Good on the coverage.
Bad timing on that particular pattern. Ball was thrown way before Tim McGee turned around. There's Sam. You see him making those signals. He's just grabbing his throat or touching the bill of his cap. You have no idea how much that means.
And we will get into that in great detail, as Bob has stolen all of the Bengals signals. We'll run them down later. Second down and 10. 81 Brown went in motion, and Esiason able to complete right at the first down marker to the tight end Eric Canis, who is handcuffed by the free safety Mike Pryor. This drive started by the fumble by Eric Dickerson, the 4th fumble that he has lost this season.
One of the things that the Bengals so far, they've had a lot of first down measurements. They're getting great first and second down yardage. We mentioned Sam White and his hand signals. The great priority on this offense for the Bengals is that the quarterbacks basically have to speak a foreign language. They run so much at the line of scrimmage that all the quarterbacks speak in code. You see Turk Schonert there, the backup quarterback, standing next to Sam White, and they're not afraid to go to the line of scrimmage and call any play that they have. And that adds to the defensive problems. They don't have to change personnel. They stand around and look at the defense, try to identify what it is, and then attack it.
And Esiason now looking at a third down, about a half yard from the Indianapolis 40. 5 minutes to go. First quarter. Quarterback sneak. So Boomer attempting to pick it up. And he has moved the chains. First down for Cincinnati.
This is one of the worries, I believe, that Bill Muir, the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts, has. That this Bengal team has the ability to have these long, sustained drives. And they really put a lot of pressure on 11 guys that you have out there in your base defense. There's Bill Muir, the defensive coordinator. You have your base defense play more plays than you want them to play when you play the Cincinnati Bengals.
First down from the 39. The lone deep back is Brooks. And Brooks took a hit, was able to work off the tackle and pick up some more. Donnell Thompson, the left defensive end, 9-year pro from North Carolina, able to make the stop. The Bengals come in at 4-2, and last Sunday here at Riverfront, they lost to Miami 20-13. They had a 13-3 lead at halftime. It was Cincinnati's first defeat here at Riverfront Stadium since back in 1987. And the question posed this week, is the mystique of the jungle gone with that 12-game win streak coming to an end?
Frankly, I don't think so. I think the Bengals did it to themselves last week. They quit in the second half. They just didn't keep attacking.
Big hole. And then Esiason on the play action finds Caddis. Chip Banks on the coverage. So on the incomplete pass, it is a 3rd down and 8.
You can certainly tell with this run action faked on L. Thompson, 99 is fooled. But this is an outlet receiver. Good coverage down the field by Indianapolis. He tries to throw it out here to a tight end in the flat. Bengals now with 4 wide receivers. The Colts with 6 DBs, Marv.
Esiason took a long look and found the wide open Eddie Brown. So Eddie Brown very much back into the game plan of Cincinnati. Picked up 25. Not that he wasn't in the game plan earlier, but these last few weeks, Sam Weiss says he's been well covered, and Esiason has had to go with what was presented to him, and so as a result he was going underneath, was not looking for Brown as frequently.
You can see the difference between the last year and this year. Last year, of course, was a career year for Eddie Brown. He was open against everybody, everywhere. This year, a lot more attention paid by defenses to Eddie Brown.
First down at the 13. 3:15 to go in the first quarter. And Brooks hit back behind the line by the right defensive end, John Hand.
Once again, this is where the Bengals have struggled in '89. Now watch how well Hand plays this. He jumps inside the block of Anthony Munoz, 78. Reimer, 75, can't really get on him, and Hand is there to make the tackle. It's a nice defensive play, and it lost a yard and a half.
Second down, 12 from the 15. Bengals 3, and the Colts nothing. Esiason off the roll, directing traffic, couldn't find anybody, and he took a wallop. Boomer was hammered by Fred Young, inside linebacker, and just casually gets up, and apparently he's all right.
Again, excellent coverage by the Indianapolis Colts. You see 51 Banks on the blitz. Now Boomer tries to trick Fred Young. Watch it. I'm going to throw it. He doesn't fool Fred Young, and Fred Young has him in the crosshairs and gets him to the turf.
Fred Young, a 4-time Pro Bowl player, while with the Seattle Seahawks in his 6th year out of New Mexico State. Third down, 8 from the 11. Again, Esiason in trouble. Again on the run. Now throws. Touchdown. Tim McGee at the back of the end zone on an 11-yard touchdown pass.
Marv, this is so close to being totally shut down by the Colts. It's just an inch from being handled. You see Ezra Johnson, 90, almost gets Boomer Esiason to the ground. Coverage again is good, but someone has forgot. Looks like Eugene Daniel forgot the coverage on Tim McGee. Let's see what happens. Now the play is busted by now. Daniel loses track of McGee.
Was out of bounds.
Oh, he was.
Came back in and touched the ball. The penalty is loss of down
Run that
at
back.
the previous spot.
Run that back just a little bit, and you'll see his right foot is on the white stripe. That means he's out of bounds. No touchdown. Good call by the official at the end of the end zone. Watch his right foot, right there. That is a loss of down. He's out of the end zone. The only way he can come back and touch the ball is if the defensive player touches it first. So the Bengals, again on a missed opportunity, have to settle for a field goal. That is a field goal attempt.
Loss of down at previous spot, 4th down.
That is the referee, Bob McElwee, and Jim Breach who connected earlier this first quarter from 30 yards away. Checks in once again. This a 28-yard attempt. The holder, Kurt Schoenet, reach, let go early in the season, then re-signed, replacing James Gowdy, is 5 for 5 on the season. Make it 6 out of 6. A minute and a half to go. First quarter, Cincinnati 6, Indianapolis nothing. Cincinnati over Indianapolis, but could be much worse because Cincinnati has dominated the play, but all they have to show for it, a couple of field goals.
Yeah, Ron Meyer and the Colts have to feel very comfortable right here with that disparity in number of plays and the yards gained between the two teams with two turnovers. They're fine. They've survived the initial rush here of Cincinnati.
And the kickoff by Johnson, Pruitt, and Verdun are back. And here's Verdun to the 10, going outside. And again, the Bengals handle it well. One other factor concerning Cincinnati settling for 2 field goals. Again, they have not been able to put up the 6 points when they're close in. There's a penalty being called on that return.
It has been a consistent problem through the '89 season here for the Bengals. That's where they've really suffered. They drive up and down the field, and from the 20 in, struggle. Again, I think that's the absence of Ickey Woods, which basically is another running back to go with James Brooks.
Back, number 84 on the return, half the distance from the end of the run.
Well, there's Ickey Woods out for the season with a knee injury. The penalty was called on the tight end Mark Boyer, and they are marking it off. Minute 23 to go in this first quarter. 6-0 Cincinnati in front of Indianapolis. The Colts losing last week in Denver 14-3. They had won 3 in a row after losing their first 2 games of the season. And last week the Colts were held to a season low 44 yards on the ground, held to only 7 first downs.
Eric Dickerson to this point, 5 carries, 16 yards, and 1 fumble.
Jack Trudeau and the Colts from the 11 on first down. And again looking to establish the ground game. Dickerson run out by the right corner. Eric Thomas.
So fluid. Such an athlete. I mean, he just kind of floats out there. And I think his foot speed really surprises a great many people because it looked like the linebacker had a shot at him. He runs right away from it. Leon White right there looks like, aha, I got it. No, you don't.
And watch the stiff arm. Cincinnati defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau says Dickerson has the best stiff arm or straight arm in the NFL. If you don't come at him low and hard, he'll shove you down and keep going. And that's what we saw as he picked up 9. And now he's hit back behind the line by Skip McClendon. It is now Miami with a 7-3 lead over Green Bay. Buffalo over the Jets 3-0. Did you hear about Kyle Mackey, the Jets backup quarterback? Ken O'Brien is the starter for the Jets, but Mackey, it seems, injured his right elbow on the nightstand next to his bed the other night. Apparently he was asleep, rolled over as he did, made a circular motion with his arm and came down elbow first on the table. You buy it, Bob?
No, I don't.
Third down and 1. And again to the ground, Dickerson.
That's close. Depends totally on the spot by the head linesman or the line judge. But there was very little room there for Dickerson.
And they're calling for the yardsticks with 29 seconds to go in this first quarter.
This is a very, very big offensive line led by a Pro Bowl center in Donaldson. And actually that time there were a couple of guys from the Bengals who ran around blocks and were able to run around quick enough, but they get the first down by half the length of the football. They ran around the blocks there and were able to get there in time. This is a quick defense See Crumrise 69 at center on Donaldson. There's not much push there, but Dickerson's great strength and size. He leans forward for the first down.
Ray Donaldson, the center. Randy Dixon and Ben Hunt are the guards. Chris Hinton and Kevin Call the tackles. Call is called the Creature. He goes 6'7", 308. Trudeau on first down, and he is going deep. Verdun tried to come back for it, but could not. So Clarence Verdun, the intended receiver, in a race with Fulcher and Thomas.
Good protection for Trudeau. This is full trajectory. I mean, this is a delta shot here for Jack Trudeau. Fulcher on the inside. Verdun almost makes the catch. It looks like Fulcher loses sight of the football. Verdun with great body control, able to get in there and almost come up with the football.
That would have been a 50-yard pass play. 2nd and 10 from the 21. On the draw, Dickerson gets out to the 26-yard line as this first quarter comes to a close. Dickerson stopped by Jim Scow and Joe Kelly. After one, 6-0 Bengals. A reminder, coming up as the second part of our NBC doubleheader, you will see either New England playing at San Francisco, Denver, and Seattle. And for NBC's Bill Walsh, today's New England-San Francisco game will be played at the Stanford Stadium in Palo Alto. And that homecoming of sorts. Bill, the head coach at Stanford back in '77 and '78, captured bowl wins in both seasons. Stanford Stadium also the site of Walsh's 49er victory over the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl 19. And at halftime of our game, we'll be visiting with Bill Walsh, taking a look back at his 49er years. We're just getting underway here, second quarter. It is a 3rd down and 5 from the 26 for Indianapolis. Bob and OJ back at our New York studios with the halftime edition of NFL Live. Marv Albert, Bob Trumpy from a sold-out Riverfront Stadium. Cincinnati, Ohio. Bengals 6 and the Colts nothing. Trudeau just looking to get it away. A big rush by the Bengals.
Looked like Robert Jackson, the free safety, was in there with some push on Jack Trudeau, number 37. Bengals came with a blitz. Thomas was also in there on pressure, so 3rd down not converted by the Indianapolis Colts.
And this the first punt of the day. Ron Stark, who comes off a superb performance last week in Denver. He is first in the AFC, averaging 45 per punt. Gets it away. And here comes Mike Martin. Good coverage by the Colts. Jeff Harrod on the stop. And Cincinnati with good field position. 37-yard punt by Stark. We'll be back here, Riverfront, in a moment. You look back at the first quarter and the difference between these two clubs. The two turnovers, the fumble by Eric Dickerson and the interception of Jack Trudeau by the free safety Ricky Dixon.
And the 2 missed scoring opportunities by Cincinnati. They're inside the 15-yard line. You can see the field position by the Bengals very, very good in the first quarter, but they only get 6 points.
Cincinnati first down from their 48. The swing for Brooks. Eluding the tackle and bringing close to the first down. Harvey Armstrong did get him down.
Jeff Harrod missed. And he stops Brooks for no gain if he makes the tackle.
Jeff Harrod with very few misses last week at Denver, 15 tackles, and leads the club with 49. Houston in front of Pittsburgh in a matchup of two coaches who really love one another. Jerry Glanville and Chuck Noll have had such fine things to say about each other.
Talk often, send cards and letters to each other.
2nd down, 3 at the 45. Bengals 6, Colts nothing. Here's Ball, and he could not make the turn. Eric Ball, the rookie from UCLA, another in a long line of standout UCLA runners following the likes of Gaston Green and Freeman McNeil, but he was stopped by Ball and Banks.
Chip Banks, number 51, has not played in the NFL since '87, playing like he never missed a game.
Third down and 6. As the Bengals go to the attack offense, their version of the hurry up.
They might take 45 seconds. They're not trying to shorten the game. They just want the ability to do everything from the line of scrimmage.
Stanford Jennings now in there along with Eric Ball. You saw the jumping. Now the flag's thrown. The completion for the first down. But let's see what this call is all about. Eddie Brown on the reception. Bengals seem to think it has gone their way.
It's on the defense. There is conversation, though. We'll see. You never can tell.
Offside, defense, penalty is declined, first down.
Last week, Indianapolis had to suffer with the hard count of John Elway. That's Chip Banks and Donnell Thompson, both offsides. Now, offsides means you're in the neutral zone, no contact. But the reception was for about 10 yards, so they keep the reception and forget the penalty. Drive continues.
Third catch of the day for Brown. Colts actually did well against Elway, who was able to change up the cadence. The previous week, Elway had caused 6 offsides on the part of the San Diego Chargers.
Listen to Esiason. He's talking in code, a foreign language.
Esiason stepping up, and it is dropped. Should have been caught. Fred Young on the coverage. Pass intended for Tim McGee, who was not able to hold on. 2nd and 10 at the 38. Over Esiason now 7 for 13. 76 yards. He has been only intercepted twice this season. He has converted on 57% of his attempts. Here's Ball. Nice move on the cutback. Has the first down. Very impressively done by Eric Ball, who was hauled down by Chris Good, the left corner.
The key man defensively on the play was Chip Banks. He had a nice pull out in front of Eric Ball, the rookie out of UCLA. As we look at scores, Buffalo up on the Jets, Miami up on Green Bay.
Houston with a 10-0 lead, and Minnesota 13-0 over Detroit. Detroit finally got on the win column last week. And here's Cincinnati with a 6-0 lead on the field goals by Breach from 30 and from 29. Cincinnati with another good drive. First down at the Indianapolis 28-yard line. Esiason. Oh, he completes. Nice catch by the tight end, Rodney Holman. That's a 23-yard pass play, and for Holman, who has been a key receiver, in fact, Cincinnati's leading receiver, his first catch of the day.
This is a double rotation zone. The responsibility of the tight end is the linebackers. You see 54, Harrod is the man in coverage, and Ball helps on the, Pryor helps on the tackle. That is a clutch catch by Rodney Holman. It gets great coverage.
First and goal from the 7. Esiason completing to Brooks at the line. That'll be a no gain, as Ball and Daniel were all over James Brooks.
Again, they display their problem inside the scoring zone. I mean, that reception to Brooks, he's going to the sideline. You see Brooks coming right at you, 21, but he's going to the sideline. Now, it's very difficult to catch that ball, turn up for the end zone. You see the contact. Ball first, and then Eugene Daniel finally gets him to the ground.
Now Brown, top of your screen to the right. McGee to the left. Ball picked picked up a yard, gets to about the 5. John Hand, the right defensive end, on the stop, so it will be a 3rd and goal from the 5.
Colts are doing a great job down here. This is the 3rd time now they've faced this situation. And it looks like they're doing with a little slant and a little flare action on their defensive line, and their linemen are there to make the tackles before the running backs get started.
Ninth play of the drive coming up. Eric Caddis checking in, so Cincinnati goes double tight end. It's a 3rd and goal at the 5. The lone deep back is Ball. That is Brown in motion. Esiason intended for Caddis, who was covered by Young.
Colts got to feel we're totally dominated in this first quarter and a half, and we're only 6 points behind. Defense again outstanding here. Besides, you can see Caddis 84 tries to bounce off the linebacker Fred Young 56. Boomer throws the ball, but Caddis can't get his hands on it, and again Jim Breach on the field. This defense is playing very, very well, giving up the yards but not the points.
And this will be a 23-yard attempt. Jim Breach has hit his previous 2 from 29 and from 30 yards away. Very accurate from short range, and he's done it again. 9-0 lead as Breach has made it 7 for 7 on the season. 9.5 to go in the second. We'll be back here in Cincinnati in a moment. Welcome back to Cincinnati. Marv Albert, Bob Trumpy. Bengals getting set to kick off now with a 9-0 lead. And the kickoff specialist, Lee Johnson, kicking away to the combination of Pruitt and Verdun. And Verdun will stay right there. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the contest. 9:24 to go in this first half. And the Indianapolis Colts will start out from their 20-yard line.
They've done very little offensively, but psychologically they must feel they're still in the ball game. They have avoided 3 real good scoring drives by the Cincinnati Bengals, but all 3 have resulted in field goals.
And the jungle comes to life as the Colts start out from their 20. Dickerson ripping through a hole, and he is running well. Has not broken one to this point. He did fumble earlier and coughed it up. He's gone for 41 yards on 10 carries. He rips off 9 right here.
The danger of Eric Dickerson is you can stop him for 10 or 11 plays. The 12th is for 60. That's that thoroughbred of Eric Dickerson always has been throughout his career. You just can't, as long as you keep giving it to him and he's healthy, he's going to break a couple of runs.
Colts double tight end with Beach and Boyer. Second down and 1. Dickerson dancing for the first down. Interesting week for Eric Dickerson. Appeared on the Arsenio Hall show last Monday. Caused a stir, indicating that retirement may be on the horizon. Says it's been building inside for a while. He's tired of the physical and mental punishment of the game. Similar words that you had regarding your broadcasting career, Bob. But
thanks, Mark.
Dickerson said he could have signed a new contract, but he hasn't. The feeling is, though, by the Colts is that he's been on the frustrated side with the injury coming off the loss last week. First down at the 32, and Dickerson with a short advance.
Now, see, Mark, here's the point to make. Because the Bengals have only made good on 3 field goals, it allows Indianapolis to keep giving the ball to Eric Dickerson to get him in the game. If they're up 21-0, which is certainly a prospect at this point, Dickerson is not a factor in this ball game at this point. But because it's 9-0, you can still go to the Clydesdale, the mule, the guy that your offense is built around. He goes to the sideline. Albert Bentley is in the ball game, number 20.
Second down and 7. Last 3 plays, it's been Dickerson for 9, for 3, and for 3. Trudeau couldn't find anyone. Now, that was his problem last week, but he did run. Let's see where they spot it. Very close to the first down marker. Mike Hammerstein able to cover up. Last week against Denver, it appeared that Trudeau received the adequate protection, but just couldn't locate open receivers.
Protection here, too. You see 75 Chris Hinton on Jason Buck. They come with a safety blitz. 53 is Barker. No place to run. Hammerstein finally gets a hand on him. 3rd and short again.
Crowd urging the defensive unit on. Dickerson. He took a hard hit. Colts feel that they have picked it up, and they have. So Dickerson with the first down, taking the shot from the left corner, Lewis Billups.
I don't think Eric Dickerson in his career has ever gotten the credit for the strength, the power that he runs with. He's such a fluid athlete, and it looks so easy. But look at that second effort by Eric Dickerson. He's gained an awful lot of tough yards throughout his career.
And he's run now for 50 yards on 13 carries. Remember last week only 35 yards. Dickerson again with a big hole, getting to midfield. Inside linebacker Joe Kelly on the stop, and Ron Meyer has to like what he is seeing on this drive.
And it's all made possible because the Bengals miss on those 3 scoring opportunities. When you're only 9 points behind, you can keep giving it to Eric Dickerson. And the more you give it to him, the more apt he is to break the big one. And I think Ron Meyer knows that full well and good.
Albert Bentley returns. Dickerson getting a breather. 2nd and 4 at the 49. And Trudeau able to complete for the first down. It appeared that after Rison made the catch, it was pushed back. Robert Jackson on the coverage. And it is a first down for Indianapolis. Miami with a 7-6 lead. Buffalo now 10-0 over the Jets. Houston maintaining the 10-0 lead on Pittsburgh. Herschel Walker scoring from 1 yard away for that Minnesota lead. And Kansas City all over Dallas. Tampa Bay leads Washington 7-5. First down at the 44. Dickerson on the draw. Getting inside the 40-yard line. Tackle again by Joe Kelly.
Now this is the kind of offense the Indianapolis Colts would like to run every week. Give it to Eric Dickerson on first down. He picks up 6 or 7 yards. Good blocking by Kevin Call, 71. This is a coach's dream. This is a quarterback's dream. You got 2nd down and 4. Eric Dickerson gets 6 for you on first down. Now your choices are many on this 2nd down and 4.
Coming up on 4 minutes to go in this first half. Dickerson with another Indianapolis first down. Jason Buck, the right defensive end, on the stop. There is Buck in his 3rd year from Brigham Young. He went to junior college as a quarterback, put on weight, became a defensive end, now bench presses 490 pounds. Made great strides last year in his 2nd season of the NFL.
Still a very small defensive end. Great height, but he doesn't carry a lot of weight on that body.
6'5", 258 for Jason Buck. First down for Trudeau. And let's see. It is complete. Bill Brooks bobbled but held on. Eric Thomas on the coverage.
Now see, they got to their bread and butter offense here. They give it to Dickerson. Then they run the simple square out to Billy Brooks. Trudeau and Brooks have been together a lot of years in Indianapolis, know each other very well, very familiar with one another's tendencies and patterns as they measure for the first down. This is all because Dickerson gets that big first down yardage for you as they pick up another first down now in this drive.
Jack Trudeau took over several weeks ago for the injured Chris Chandler.
That's how much he likes Brooks. And it's worked.
This is the 4th straight season that the Colts have had a starting quarterback injured after 3 games. Gary Hogaboom twice, then Trudeau last year with ligament damage in his knee, and now Chandler out of action. Bentley with a stutter step move, getting inside the 20-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go in this first half. David Grant Leo Barker combined to stop Albert Bentley, who hurt his shoulder 3 weeks back in the game against Buffalo. Did not see much action last week in Denver, but a very versatile back. Albert Bentley led the AFC with 1,500 all-purpose yards 2 years ago. A lot of clubs were interested in Albert Bentley right near the trade deadline time a week and a half ago. 2nd down and 7. Trudeau going up top. Oh, almost caught off the deflection. What a play. James Pruitt actually had that ball overthrown, but was able to keep it alive, but then could not come up with it. 2-minute warning. We'll be right back.
Key graphic for both football teams. For Indianapolis, it's primarily Eric Dickerson, and he is definitely in this football game with 66 yards rushing. For Cincinnati, they've done it in a combination of ways, both runs and passes. Ron Meyer's got to be thinking, now this is the kind of offense I envision, and I also think this is Sam Weitz's worst nightmare. They have 13-play drive, a lot of it to Dickerson.
And this despite the 9-0 Cincinnati lead on 3 field goals. 3rd down and 7. And Trudeau gets it away. Risen bumped out, but it sets up a 1st and goal. Phillips and Thomas, the 2 cornermen, able to knock Risen out of bounds.
That is a great job by Jack Trudeau. He's got blitz coming everywhere. You see on the outside 41 Wilcots, 53 Barber. He brings it back down, throws it out to Risen, and makes the completion. Oh man, that's a heck of a play right there. He stood in there. A lot of quarterbacks after that first pump would take it down and take the sack. He stayed with the play, and it goes for the completion.
3rd catch of the day for Risen, and a 1st and goal from the 4 for the Colts. Albert Bentley with the short pickup. The clock is running. 1 minute and 43 remaining in this first half. Ball placed at the 2. It will be a 2nd and goal at the 2. Donaldson at center, Dixon and Hutt at the guards, Call and Hinton at the tackles. Bentley in front of Dickerson. Brooks splits to the left. Here's Dickerson. Oh, he took a hit. Thought he had the opening, but was kept away. Jim Scow with the pop on Dickerson.
Flag thrown very, very late. One of the Bengals pointing that it's against the Colts. Personal foul. Oh, no. They worked so hard on this drive. It starts at the 20. And somebody loses their cool. That's the best break Sam Weitz has seen in this drive.
Well, the Bengals have not been hit with a penalty today.
75 offense after the play. The down will count. 3rd down.
Oh, that's double jeopardy. It's a dead ball foul on Chris Hinton, the all-pro left tackle. He loses his cool, takes a punch at somebody or does something, and they gain very little yards on the run. The ball is dead, and then they mark off 15 yards. So it costs them 15 yards and a down. See if we can pick it up. There's 75. Kevin Walker pushes him in the back. They never see the first punch or hit, and they throw the flag on that. That's pretty cheap foul right there, but it's a great break for the Bengals.
And it's a 3rd and goal. Now the ball out at the 16. Trudeau with the time. Goes sideline. And Risen is stopped out of the 12. Phillips and Thomas putting the clamps on Andre Risen.
This has got to drive Ron Meyer, the head coach, nuts. I mean, what you want to do is play smart football. You don't want to be stupid and they never seem to catch the first guy that throws the punch, and that was Kevin Walker. Chris Hinton retaliates, and it costs them 15 yards and a down. They got to settle for a field goal attempt after their best drive of the first half.
And this will be a 28-yard attempt by Dean Biasucci, the NFL's most consistent place kicker the past couple of years. 9 for 12 on the season. And Biasucci puts it through with 14 seconds to go in this first half. So it's been a battle of field goals. Cincinnati now up by the score of 9-3.
Coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By Coors Light, pure brewed in the Rockies, the Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now. And by Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers, the best hamburger in the business.
Back at Riverfront, 14 seconds to go in the second quarter, and Chris Hinton cannot be a happy man off that personal foul call that sent the ball back. Bengals very happy to see Indianapolis settle for 3 points. And it's a 9-3 Cincinnati lead. This is Ira Hillary to the 10. Nice move. Making his way across the 20-yard line. Charles Washington on the stop. And as you can see, 8 seconds to go in this first half.
In defense of Chris Hinton, Marv, I think you and I have both seen a lot more pushing and shoving that results in no flag or a penalty on both teams.
Kind of a light call.
Yeah,
yes.
that was a disaster. It's after the play. It cost them the down and 15 yards.
And it was a 17-play drive, the longest of the season for the Colts, that ends up with only 3 points. Coming up at halftime, Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson on NFL Live back at our New York studios as this first half comes to an end. The Cincinnati Bengals on 3 field goals by Jim Breach, leading the Indianapolis Colts 9-3. We'll be back in a moment. Cincinnati Bengals lead the Indianapolis Colts by the score of 9-3. Coming up, Bob Costas, NFL Live, featuring a close-up look at one-time 49er coach Bill Walsh, now, of course, an NBC commentator. That is ahead, and we'll be back here in Cincinnati shortly.
National Football League is brought to you by Geo. Get to know Geo. Sold and serviced by Chevrolet Geo dealers. NFL Live halftime activities will continue after these messages from your local station.
Okay, Bob Costas back along with O.J. Simpson. We welcome those of you watching the games from Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Since we talked about Bo Jackson on the pregame show, what's your assessment of his first half? 9 carries unofficially for 24 yards.
Well, it's not good, obviously, but...
An excellent point.
I think what the Raiders have done, they've been saying so much that they want to run the football and throw the bomb, that Philly was well prepared for it. Philly's an excellent defensive team, some physical guys up front, and they've just been controlling the game with their defensive line. But I think Art Shell is happy at this point. He's playing against a team that many people thought would go to the Super Bowl. His team wasn't given much chance in the 0-0 at halftime, and I think he's pretty happy with that at this point.
A couple of missed field goals in the game. Raiders come in 3-3. Philadelphia 4-2. No score, as O.J. said, at the half. Cincinnati is in front of Indianapolis. They've got 3 Jim Breach field goals at Riverfront. The score is 9-3. Eric Dickerson has been held under 100 yards each of the last 4 games. We'll track his progress for you in the second half. Miami has the lead over Green Bay at Joe Robbie Stadium 10-6. Marino with a 7-yard touchdown pass to Jim Jensen there. Buffalo leading the Jets late in the second quarter at Buffalo 13-0, and it isn't even really that close. The Jet offense, which has been totally ineffective the last 3 weeks, has accounted for only 33 yards total to this point in the first half, 13-0 in favor of Buffalo. Houston with the lead on Pittsburgh, 17-zip. Moon has thrown 2 touchdown passes, one of 51 yards to Curtis Duncan, another a 3-yard flip to Alonzo Highsmith. 17-0 Houston, both clubs 3-3 in the AFC Central. And good news about Jerry Glanville. Believe it or not, he was bitten by a water moccasin. That's not the good news. The good news is he's going to be fine. He was walking outside his house with his son last night and somehow bitten by the poisonous snake, but doctors were able to treat it. He is on the sidelines and apparently fine. Minnesota playing at Detroit. Vikings 4-2, Lions 1-5. The Vikes lead 13-0 just before halftime. Herschel Walker a 1-yard run for their last score, his first TD as a Viking. Kansas City in a wide-open game at home against the 0-6 Cowboys, leading 21-14. A couple of touchdown runs by Christian Okoye and Paul Palmer making his presence felt immediately for Dallas. They just acquired him. The former Chief goes 63 yards for a touchdown against his old mates. Tampa Bay leading at Washington. The score there is 7-5. The Tampa Bay touchdown on Ricky Reynolds' 33-yard return of a blocked punt early in the first quarter. Tampa Bay 7 and Washington 5 just before halftime. Now, when Denver plays in Seattle this afternoon, a familiar face will be back on their coaching staff. Mike Shanahan, fired 2 weeks ago in his second year as head coach of the Raiders, is once again the quarterback coach of the Broncos. Earlier today, I asked him how John Elway greeted him upon his return.
Well, great. I talked to John right after the, being released by the Raiders, and we talked during the week, and I really wanted to get his feelings before I did come back, and I thought it was something positive, so I did make the decision to come back to the Broncos.
How do you think you'll feel? And I realize it's a ways off, but in early December, the Broncos play at the Raiders. They've already played once at Mile High, but they've got the one game remaining in Los Angeles. Do you think that'll be a strange feeling for you when you walk into the Coliseum?
Bob, it will be really strange. Anytime that you're at a place for a year and a half like I was with the Raiders, and you develop relationships with players and coaches, it's always tough to go back and compete, especially under the circumstances.
Former Raider coach Mike Shannon now reunited with John Elway, Dan Reeves and company in Denver. Did I say Mike Shannon? Did I mean to say Mike Shanahan? You know, Mike Shannon used to play baseball for the Cardinals. Did you know that, OJ? I'm just trying to make this as wide a program as possible, encompassing as many different subjects as possible. I'm not even sure what I said, but everybody knows that was Mike Shanahan, and everybody knows we'll be back with more halftime activities after this. On NBC, most of you will see the Patriots play the 49ers. It's a personally significant broadcast for NBC's Bill Walsh in his first season in the booth with Dick Enberg because it's the first time he's covered his former team, the 49ers. We'll talk with Walsh in just a moment, but first, watch along with us as we bring you this appreciation of his coaching career. Walsh's association with Bay Area football began on the coaching level at Stanford. After 2 highly successful seasons there, he got the long-awaited call to the pro ranks from the 49ers in 1979. And all his pent-up creativity burst forth on the NFL. While some coaches gave their plotting offenses as few as 20 plays, Walsh's game plans often included 120 pass plays alone. While some jittery coaches opened a big game by running off tackle, Walsh once started a playoff game with 325 hitch and lateral. His slow draw right with the wraparound handoff became a personal signature. Instead of just post corner, he designed a route for Dwight Clark that went post, corner, post. He named it the Shake, and it made defenders disappear. Invention came easily to Walsh. In the 1984 NFC Championship game, he was the first to use a lineman in the backfield, a move that inspired the refrigerator in Chicago a year later. In that same game, Walsh had Joe Montana and Freddie Solomon exchange positions so that Solomon, a college quarterback, could run the split T option. No doubt the best remembered single play of his 10 years was the catch by Dwight Clark that beat Dallas and propelled San Francisco to its first Super Bowl. What isn't so well remembered is the drive which resulted in the catch. A drive of 89 yards in 13 flawless plays, authored by Professor Walsh. Dallas, expecting pass, came with its 6 and 7 back defenses. Walsh countered with sweeps, knowing they took time off the clock, knowing that if his team made a mistake, he wouldn't get the ball back. In the tightest of spots, he had the right scheme and the guts to use it. Having earned control of the 49er organization, Walsh made his finest personnel move on April 30th, 1985, college draft day in the NFL. Talented wide receiver Jerry Rice of Mississippi Valley State was still available through 15 selections. Dallas, picking 17th, was ready to celebrate. The Cowboys lusted for Rice and knew that New England, choosing 16th, was no threat to take him. But Walsh traded up to get the player he wanted.
16th pick in the first round. Wide receiver Jerry Rice of Mississippi Valley.
Since then, Rice has been a Super Bowl MVP and is widely regarded as the finest receiver in the game. In searching for Walsh's greatest coaching moment, one is drawn not to the Super Bowls, but curiously to a Monday night during the 1987 Players' Strike. Walsh opened the second half against the Giants in the wishbone. Bill Parcells laughed, and Walsh shrugged as if to say, "What am I going to do? It's a strike game with replacement players." Each run brought the Giants' secondary forward, creeping ever closer to the line of scrimmage. Then, after 9 plays, all on the ground, the Giant corners and safeties peeking into his backfield, Walsh called the wishbone pass. And immediately you understood. He wasn't simply going to show a formation or run a single play for novelty's sake. He had a whole sequence in mind, a touchdown sequence. It was pure Walsh. Today he returns to Palo Alto, still sharing his unique perspective, this time from a different vantage point. And he joins us from the booth. Bill, now that your coaching career is over, apart from the personal achievements, the 3 Super Bowls and all the rest, what do you think your impact upon the game was?
Well, if there's any kind of a technical impact, I think it would be related to the passing game. I was just watching some of the monitors of some of the games being played and people running into the line of scrimmage for 1, 2, 3 yards, and we just, over a period of time, took an approach. We can throw a 5-yard pass a lot easier than we can run for 1 yard. So I guess a short ball control kind of passing game was sort of our label.
How are you feeling these days in terms of the transition from the sideline up to the booth? You happy with it?
Well, I'll be happy as time passes. Dick Enberg is, I'm following him everywhere, Bob. He gets a cup of coffee, I get a cup of coffee, everywhere he goes. So he's helping me out immensely. It's been fun. It's been great to see the coaches, again, in a fraternal way, and the players. So that part of it I've truly enjoyed.
The criticisms and the occasional zingers come with the territory, whether it's as a coach or up in the broadcast booth even occasionally. But how have you reacted to remarks by some of your former players who said, in effect, great football mind, but we didn't like him as well as we might have liked somebody else?
Well, it was just a handful of guys, and they almost the guys you'd predict. I've spoken with the entire team individually. I've got great rapport with them. I feel very positive about my experience with the 49ers and my work with them. It's been tremendously gratifying. It really has.
That's Bill Walsh, almost by acclamation, the coach of the 80s. He'll be broadcasting the San Francisco game this afternoon against the New England Patriots, along with Dick Enberg, and we'll be back with more of our NFL Live halftime activities in just a moment.
Cincinnati, Marv Albert with Bob Trumpy as we head to the second half. Bengals lead the Colts by the score of 9-3, and the kickoff by Dean Biasucci of Indianapolis. The return by Ira Hillary once again. And Hillary gets across the 20-yard line, run out by Chris Good. And a look at the halftime stat. What strikes you, the 2 turnovers committed by the Colts, the fumble by Dickerson and the interception of Trudeau, that led to 2 of the Cincinnati field goals.
The other key factor is here's the interception that Ricky Dixon gets in the first quarter. This was a good drive going by Indianapolis. Stopped here. I was going to make the point that go ahead, Marv. I'll talk. There's the point to make. The running game of the Cincinnati Bengals, which came into the game leading the NFL, held to just 48 yards in the first half. James Brooks, a 2.8-yard average, came in averaging 5.8 per carry.
And Brooks stopped again by John Hand. On the other hand, Dickerson, 17 carries, 70 yards, and running well. Running well for the first time in several weeks. He's been bothered by that severe hamstring pull. It is a 2nd and 12 from the 18. Esiason to the sideline, but through the hands of Eddie Brown.
Well, this is a very, very key drive for Cincinnati. If they can get some points here, preferably a touchdown in their thinking, then they might be able to take Eric Dickerson out of the ball game. Indianapolis just can't continue to give the ball to Eric Dickerson if they trail 16-3. But if Cincinnati does not get points, then Indianapolis can wipe out the bad memory of that first half, go right back to giving it to Eric Dickerson, and they are squarely in this game.
Esiason 9 for 17 as he looks at a 3rd down and 12. And a little mix up there, down he goes.
Ezra Johnson, he was in there. Good pass rush, first sack of the day by the Indianapolis Colts, and that is a big defensive series for Indianapolis.
And for Ezra Johnson, his 8th sack of the season among the leaders in the AFC.
You see Bick at 50 on the outside kind of collapses the pocket, and Ezra Johnson gets him to the ground.
Ezra, the oldest Colt, 34 years old, and here's the first punt of the day for Lee Johnson. Punting from his end zone. Clarence Verdun is back, and he is very dangerous. Verdun, the #1 man at punt return in the NFL. And here's the circular route by Verdun, and he could not get away. Superb coverage by the Bengals. So Clarence Verdun tried to turn it and could not find any headway. Barney Bussey leading the assault. 45-yard punt for Johnson, and Verdun lost 5 on the play. So the Indianapolis Colts take over at the 39-yard line. Colts at 3-3, Bengals 4-2. Indianapolis with wins over Atlanta, the Jets beat Buffalo big. They lost to the 49ers, the Rams, and the Broncos. Here's Dickerson finding room and running well for a first down. And a flag has been thrown. Ricky Dixon, the free safety, on the tackle of Eric Dickerson.
Bengals are in trouble. Bengals are in trouble because Dickerson is running well. You see the face mask call against Cincinnati. Running well. The line is doing a good job of blocking.
5-yard face mask foul. Enforced from the end of the run. First down.
And the Colts are in a situation where they can continue to give the ball to Eric Dickerson, which is the biggest part of their offense. For the first time in several weeks now, their offense functioning exactly the way they want.
It is a first down at the Cincinnati 43-yard line. So 88 yards now and 18 carries for Dickerson. 2 minutes gone by in the third. Dickerson making his way inside the 40-yard line. Eric Dickerson played for Ron Meyer at Southern Methodist. Came to the Colts from the Rams back in 1987. Colts giving up a #1 pick, 2 number 2s. A fellow by the name of Owen Gill, who is no longer in the league, and gave the rights to Cornelius Bennett to Buffalo, a trade that saw all 3 teams benefit.
Boy, did that trade change the AFC East, too, didn't it? Dickerson coming here, and also Cornelius Bennett to Buffalo.
2nd and 5. And it is Dickerson again straight arming his way. And this time he is held by the Bengals. Could not get away from the cluster led by Buck and Kelly.
Eric, put your helmet on. Don't ever push and shove on the field without your helmet on. I think the worst thing you want to do if you're playing Eric Dickerson is get him hot, because then he really turns upfield on you. Bengals defense have allowed 2 running backs over 100 yards so far in the first 6 games. Neil Anderson got it for Chicago in the first game. Christian Okoye got it for Kansas City. We kind of poked the finger in the eye of Chris Hinton into the first half. He had a nice pull on that particular play. Watch him, 75. Ian Dixon pulling out there, doing an excellent job of leading Eric Dickerson up through the front. Little hand on a player. That's Carl Zander, 91. Kelly makes the tackle. I think he rips his helmet off. Eric Dickerson takes the front at that.
It is a 3rd and 2 at the 35. Referee Bob McElwee on the public address asking for the clock to be reset. It has been adjusted, and the crowd gets back into it.
Bentley.
Trudeau. And Bentley fumbles.
Oh! Fulcher gets it.
It took the proper hop right into the hands of David Fulcher.
Oh, 3 turnovers for Indianapolis. Bart did you see right at the end when the ball bounces to him, he checks his feet like a receiver to stay in bounds. This is a well-conceived play. Bentley is open. The man in coverage appears to be Chris Barber. He pokes the ball loose. Now watch Fulcher. Keeps his feet in. Another turnover, and Cincinnati gets it back.
So the Bengals, first down from the 16-yard line. David Fulcher, who comes off a strong game against Miami last Sunday with 12 tackles and a pass interception, led to a field goal, has come up with the fumble recovery.
The play stands as called.
Apparently, they checked on that last play, and on the review, they say the play does hold up.
You see him poke the ball out. Now they were looking to see if he had control of the ball and both feet in, just like a receiver.
Nice running by Eric Paul. Jeff Harrod was right there. Now, had the ball gone out of bounds and Fulcher not able to come up with it, Indianapolis would have maintained possession.
Back to the spot of the fumble. You're right. Indianapolis maintains possession, and Bentley had the first down. Colts have done a great job of shutting this very potent Bengal running game almost off.
Second down and 8 at the 18. Brooks in motion. Syson looking that way. Incomplete. Took the hit from Chip Banks.
A lot of blitzing today by Chip Banks. Probably does not know a great deal of the defense, but he knows how to blitz. He's coming from the other side. Here's Bick at 50. Banks on the other side, right at Boomer Esiason's leg. I think the Colts have shown more blitzing today than they have the last 4 or 5 weeks.
It is a third down, 8 from the 18. Cincinnati 9, Indianapolis 3. 4 minutes in, third quarter. Esiason on the run. So Boomer Esiason short of the first down. Sam Clancy makes the tackle. There's Sam in his 6th season out of the University of Pittsburgh. I should point out, Bob, you passed along some erroneous information a couple of weeks back concerning Sam Clancy. An innocent mistake, but nevertheless, you said that Sam and his wife Annetta had 5 children, all with the name Sam. Now, for the record, they have 3 children: 9-year-old Sam, 6-year-old Samantha, 4-year-old Samario. So it's 3 rather than 5 as we watch the punt by Lee Johnson, handled by Clarence Verdun. And again, good coverage by the Bengals. So contrary to the misleading reports that Bob dispensed, although innocently, the Clancys have 3 children. 46-yard punt, 5-yard return. We'll hear from Bob on that subject in a moment. Well, Bob, now that we've cleared up the Sam Clancy family situation.
Yeah, he wasted no time straightening me out. He said his mother-in-law called and asked Sam's wife, "Are you expecting?"
Yeah.
So it is 3, and I stand corrected.
That is clear now. All right, Indianapolis first down at the 35. 5 minutes gone by in the third quarter. The Colts trail the Bengals by the score of 9-3. Dickerson getting to the 39-yard line, an advance of 4. So Eric Dickerson now 96 yards, 21 carries. Indianapolis Colts back to the offense. A 27-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci late in the second quarter. Their only score. Jim Breach has hit 3 field goals from 23, 29, and 30, but the Bengals were stopped on a couple of long drives.
This has basically been a game for both teams of missed opportunities.
Second down and 6. Play action. And Trudeau going deep for Verdun. He's got him. Verdun caught from behind by Ricky Dixon. A 46-yard pass play.
All made possible by the great running of Eric Dickerson. One of the few times you'll see Indianapolis go with the play action faking. because Eric Dickerson is approaching 100 yards rushing, the defense has to respect Eric Dickerson at the line of scrimmage. Now watch what it does. He fakes to him. It holds everybody at the line of scrimmage, and then Trudeau stands in there and gets it deep to Verdun.
First catch of the day for Verdun. You had asked Jack Trudeau in your effort to coach all the ball clubs that we end up watching, why no more play action than they usually go with, as you see Dickerson go over the 100-yard mark. And Trudeau said, well, we're just not a play-action type of ball club.
He said we're not good at it. But when Eric Dickerson runs the ball like he's running today, that's another 8-yard pickup. Then that play action really freezes the linebackers at the line of scrimmage, and you get a lot of one-on-one coverage down the field.
Second down and 1. So Dickerson now 105 yards, 22 carries. Dickerson changes direction. Oh, breaking tackles to pick up the first down. Thomas and Dixon combined on the stop.
By all rights, that should be a loss of a yard or two, and he turns it into a 4-yard gain. Great change of direction by Eric Dickerson. He saw the initial hole close. This is a real bit of running by Eric Dickerson. Look at that move. Jumps inside Thomas. Runs through that tackle by Dixon.
First and goal. And Dickerson stopped at the line, but a penalty marker is down. And again, some pushing and shoving between Colts and Bengals. It's against Indianapolis. In that drive late in the second quarter, a 17-play drive, the Colts had to settle for a field goal. That because of the personal foul called on Chris Hinton.
After the play. So it cost them the down and 15 yards. Here's Bob McElwee.
Right tackle, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That is Kevin Call. So the motion called on the right tackle Call, and it sets it back to a first and goal from the 10.
Both these teams produced a lot of offense between the 20s. When they get inside the 20, then they start tripping over their own foot. Penalties, missed assignments, dumb mistakes. But Colts have 4 downs here at it. Key part of this game for Indianapolis. The key.
And as Bentley flanked to the right, Trudeau able to complete. But the ball will be spotted down at the 4 as Risen made the catch in front of Thomas.
This is just one-on-one. You see how deep the cornerback, Eric Thomas, is. Risen on the outside. He just runs a hitch. Watch the ball come into the picture. Good concentration to hang on to the football.
And they changed the spot. It is about 2.5 yards away. It'll be a second and goal. Now Dickerson and Bentley in the backfield.
Play action.
And Trudeau couldn't find anybody. Incomplete. Intended for Brooks.
Oh, that was close. Reggie Williams, 57, almost makes the sack. This is a nice play action fake. Watch Reggie Williams come out. There you see 57 coming after him. Almost gets the sack. Trudeau able to get it off. Both these teams have played great defense inside the 10-yard line. Williams gets around Pat Beach and is right there, but Trudeau avoids the sack.
It is a third and goal. Risen is to the left. Verdun right. Brooks in motion. Quick pop. Touchdown. So Jack Trudeau finally gets it in as he connects with Bill Brooks.
No one went with the motion man on the defense. They were expecting Eric Dickerson to carry the ball. hard for that one, didn't they, Marv?
And they have tied the game at 9. Here is Biasucci to attempt the extra point. Ron Stark will put it down. Oh, it is mishandled. Bad snap, and the Bengals get a break.
What is going on here? That ball went right through Ron Stark's hands. It was a little high, but that should have been handled.
Now the kick snapper is Ray Donaldson, and Ron Stark was not able to get the grips on it. Here it is.
Very hard snap by Donaldson. Goes through Stark's hands. Blows up the extra point. Game tied.
So we remain tied at 9. Ron Stark, the holder, talking things over at the Indianapolis bench. The extra point attempt missed off the snap. We'll get another look at it in a moment as Dean Biasucci gets set to kick it off. Colts and Bengals tied at 9. Jennings and Hillary are the deep men. And Ira Hillary from his goal line. 15. And hauled down as he crossed the 15-yard line. John Brandis on the tackle. Now let's take another look at that snap. Here's the attempted extra point by Biasucci.
Snap is high, and it looks like it's very hard. Goes right through Stark's hands. Well, I mean, look at this. That baby just snaps right through there, so no extra point. Ends up a tie score. Strange things have happened here so far today, Marv.
Biasucci was 12 for his previous 12 in point after touchdowns. First down for the 17. Nice hole for James Brooks. Fred Young, Jeff Parrott on the tackle.
Marv, I believe a key factor that find the Bengals tied with the Colts with all the opportunities they've had is the Bengals before that rush by James Brooks. Just 53 yards rushing per today. They came in averaging 176 a game.
And Brooks picked up 8, 2nd and 2 at the 25. 5.5 to go in the third. The game tied at 9. Here is Brooks. And he has the first down. Bruce Kozerski at center for Cincinnati. Bruce Reimers back from the separated shoulder, sat out last week. He's at the left guard. Max Montoya on the right. Brian Blados, Anthony Munoz at the tackles. Joe Walter, dressed today, is available, although we have not seen him as of yet. He missed the first 6 games of the season back from major reconstructive knee surgery. But he remains as a backup with Blados at tackle. First down at the 28. Eric Ball for a short pickup.
Oh, that last first down by Cincinnati, their first of the second half. They had gone 3 plays and out. And actually, from the second quarter on, really struggled. Look at this in the second half. 3 plays and out. And the Colts, of course, drive down, have the fumble. And then the touchdown. So it's kind of evened out a little bit.
2nd and 7 at the 31. McGee is to the right.
You got James Brooks out here with the strong safety.
Yes, Brooks flanked to the left. Esiason goes the other way, incomplete. Eddie Brown not able to handle that pass from Esiason. He was covered by Eugene Daniel. And it will be a 3rd and 7.
Bengals were very good in the first half converting third downs, 5 of 8. But they faced their third here now in the second half, and they're 0 for 2 in third down conversions.
Esiason 0 for 3 in the second half. Overall, 9 for 22. Complete for the first down. Mike Martin on the reception. Plummer and Taylor combined to make the stop.
That is their first third down conversion of the second half. Quick little pop pass. Colts again very, very close though. The coverage by the Colts has been excellent today. So the Bengals have really struggled all up and down the field. Not really gotten that deep pass like they wanted to Eddie Brown and Tim McGee, and had great difficulty running the ball.
Cincinnati first down at the 40. 3.5 remaining in the third. Here's Ball out to the 44, so he picked up 4 to be a 2nd and 6. Fred Young, Harvey Armstrong combined to make the stop. Game tied at 9. Cincinnati scoring 3 field goals by Jim Breach. That has been it. 2 good drives were stopped against Cincinnati, not able to cash in from close in. That's the case last week against the Dolphins. Indianapolis had a 17-play drive stifled, had to settle for a Biasucci field goal, and then Trudeau on a 2-yard pass to Brooks for a touchdown, but the extra point no good on the mishandled snap. 2nd down, 6. Esiason with a dump off has the tight end Holman, and a first down. Rodney Holman goes for 17.
We got an offensive lineman of the Bengals down. Looks like Max Montoya is on the turf. This is already a banged up, beat up offensive line. That was just a dump off pass by Boomer Esiason. Ends up being a huge gain. 17 yards and a first down.
NBC Sports is still on the line. Dial 1-900-226-8000 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, Pro Bowl right guard Max Montoya being helped off the field. Coming off the Pro Bowl season, going for the 2nd time last year. He came into today with a bruised back, and he will go to the sideline. So Joe Walter makes his return. He will take over at right tackle. Brian Latos to left guard. First down at the Indianapolis 38. Esiason gets it away incomplete. Holman was in the area.
Well, they have been all over Boomer Esiason today. Again, Chip Banks right up in his face. Colts choosing to go with a lot more blitzes this week than they have in the last 2 or 3.
Raiders in Philadelphia still no score in the third. 2 touchdown passes for Dan Marino to lead Miami. And the Jets continue to suffer as they head to a record of 1-6. Look at Houston. Jerry Glanville smiling as he looks over at Chuck Noll with a 24-0 lead. Dallas trailing Kansas City 27-14. Washington over Tampa Bay. 2nd down and 10. Here's Brooks. Makes it to the 31. Took the hit from Eugene Daniel coming up from the right cornerback position.
Big block by Rodney Holman. Tim McGee also had a big block on that sweep. You watch Brooks. You see Holman is the pulling man, 82. He gets the hit on Mike Pryor, the strong safety. McGee kind of gets in the way of Eugene Daniel, but Daniel makes the stop. Brings up about 3rd down and 3 now for the Bengals.
And another long drive. This the 10th play of the drive. Esiason from the shotgun. Off the roll. He was looking for the opening and then just throws it, and it's picked off. He thought he was throwing it away. Keith Taylor on the intercept. Penalty marker is down. He was trying to throw it away. And he misjudged Keith Taylor.
Ineligible downfield, 74 offense, penalty decline, first down.
So it holds up Brian Latos, the man downfield, and Keith Taylor with his 4th interception of the season. There he is in his 2nd year out of the University of Illinois.
This started out to be a shovel pass. He doesn't want to throw it down the field. Marv, you're right. He's just trying to throw the ball away to avoid the sack. It was originally going to be a short little shovel pass to James Brooks. Taylor does a great job. Very acrobatic interception. And didn't we see Cincinnati do this a couple of times to Indianapolis? Boy, it's taken some strange bounces today.
Only the 3rd time that Boomer's been intercepted this season.
Don't be fooled by...
And he's the guy that the ball is intended for first. It's just going to be a little shovel pass. But then the Colts defense, Dwayne Pickett out there, is right between Boomer and Brooks. Watch the pass interference down the field by Taylor. You're allowed one chuck in the first 5 yards. He gets away with it, comes up with the interception.
And Indianapolis taking at their 20-yard line. A minute to go in the third. Dickerson picked up a yard, maybe two. This game moving along at a very crisp pace. Last week's Indianapolis-Denver game took only 2 hours and 34 minutes. Fastest game of the season, which means, Bob, we missed many of your pithy comments. It just flew right by.
Well, I'm trying to make up for that this week.
It is a 2nd and 9 outside the 21. Eisen comes to the right side. Colts and Bengals tied at 9. And Trudeau going sideline and has the first down. Clarence Verdun for 14 on the play. The free safety, Ricky Dixon, on the stop, and the clock is running down. We're coming to the end of the third quarter. The Colts, when we resume, will have a first down from their 35. Cincinnati and Indianapolis even at 9. As we head to the fourth quarter, the Cincinnati Bengals continue to have their second half problems. Last week against Miami, the Bengals led the Dolphins 13-3 at halftime and then went on to lose the game by the score of 20-13.
This is a team that last year scored 448 points. They were in the end zone all the time. There were only 2 teams in the NFL last year that scored over 400 points. Bengals were one of them. You can see Boomer Esiason and Sam White's trying to reconstruct what they can do here for the remainder of this game.
Sam Weiss last year took the Bengals to the Super Bowl, won most of the polls as Coach of the Year, produced the biggest turnaround in NFL history, leading the Bengals to that 12-4 regular season record following a forgettable 4-11 back in '87.
In '87, it was rumored by a lot of people that those two guys didn't get along with each other, but it was more losing than their two personalities.
And the Colts first down from the 36 as this fourth quarter gets rolling. Verdun is run out of bounds. Eric Thomas, the right corner, on the coverage. Third catch for Verdun, 65 yards in all. And Jack Trudeau is having himself a very nice, steady outing here against Cincinnati. Coming up, it'll be either New England playing San Francisco at Stanford at Palo Alto, or Denver and Seattle as part of our NBC doubleheader. Bill Walsh making his return to Stanford. He and Dick Enberg at the mic for the Patriots and the 49ers. Dickerson again tried to make more of a turn, but it appears he has the first down. Jackson runs him out. Well, Philadelphia leading the Raiders by the score of 7-0. In the third, Miami off the 2 touchdown passes by Marino. In front of Green Bay, Buffalo over the Jets 20-0. And Houston adding to the lead on Pittsburgh. Minnesota 20-0 over Detroit. And Kansas City and Washington in front. First down at the 47. Bentley able to shake one tackler, then 2, and then is hauled down, although he did not pick up much. Joe Kelly finally got him down.
Well, when you get the ball to Albert Bentley, he too is a big tackle breaker, just like Eric Dickerson. He's sitting in the double wing formation, just a little circle route across the line of scrimmage. He has great strength. We were told earlier he has a sprained foot, would return. He appears to be fine. Kelly finally gets him down along with a couple of other Bengal players.
2nd and 5 at the 48 in Cincinnati territory. Dickerson, penalty flag thrown. Dickerson scampering to the 45-yard line, so only 3 on the pickup.
A big assist there to Jason Buck. He blew that play up because he was right in holding on the offense. Watch the left-hand side of the screen. Jason Buck comes in and meets the trapper, the puller. Bennett, 64, right there. Dickerson's got to go around him. That allows the defense to be out there and assist on the tackle.
Number 64, offense, 10 yards, second down.
That was Bennett.
And there is Bennett, 6'6", 293 pounds, out of Georgia Tech. Well, Cincinnati, usually a club that is not pleased about the officiating. Sam Weiss has had his share of complaints. Today making out very well in that department.
It's unusual to go through the game with no penalties against you whatsoever.
Second down and 15. Indianapolis from its 43. Trudell getting the good protection, and it is broken up. That was deflected. Leo Barker got a piece of it. The pass intended for Bill Brooks.
It looked like he may have gotten a finger on it. I'm not sure, Marv.
15.
We should be able to see this perfectly. Brooks is the receiver coming from right to left. Does he touch it? Yes. Barker gets his hand on it, or that's a reception.
And the chant of defense from this capacity crowd, close to 60,000 in Riverfront, as the Bengals face a 3rd and 15 by the Colts. And again deflected and broken up. This time, Lewis Phillips was able to get a piece of it, and the crowd reacts. Good series by the Cincinnati defensive unit. And Sam Weiss is pumped up.
Now the offense of the Bengals in the last couple of 3 weeks has not really done their job. The defense has made the big plays. And Phillips there with a hand up. Ball looked like it was intended for Billy Brooks. Incomplete.
Ron Stark with a second punt of the day. Here's Mike Martin. Oh, good coverage by the Colts. He barely moved. A 39-yard punt by Stark. Ivy Joe Hunter on the hit. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Albert with Bob Trumpy. Cincinnati getting set to go back to the offense now. Bob, earlier you were telling us about some of the comprehensive terminology used by Sam Weiss and the Cincinnati Bengals. What have you picked up by snooping around the training camp?
Well, it takes a lot of practice, and you got to hide in the bushes and everything. But as is true in baseball, a little signal means a lot, like this. Just that from Sam Weiss. To Boomer Esiason out on the field means a great deal. It's far double wing right, plumb short, 90 fly wide riser. And basically what he's calling there is the formation, the play, and also the snap count. So a very, very little move it to the eye means a long pass down the field to Boomer Esiason.
And let's see what Boomer does right here. It is dropped. Incomplete. Eddie Brown not able to hang on. Off that punt return, Mike Martin took a good jolt, and he was shaken up. And has made his way to the sideline. It'll be a second down and 10 at the 20. 2.5 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. The Bengals and the Colts are tied at 9. Brooks, the lone deep back. And here is Brooks for the first down out across the 35, and Esiason took a hard hit.
That was John Hand that got him. Esiason has been pressured all day long. Now this comes from the left-hand side, which is the Munoz-Blado side. Now that he has moved in, you'll see John Hand come from the right-hand side of the picture. And just as Boomer lets it go, Hand is right in his chest. That ball floats. But Brooks still able to make the catch and the run for 16 yards and a first down.
And a first down at the 35. Esiason 12 for 25, 141 yards. Able to shake off that hit. Here's Ball. Picked pickup of 2. Jeff Herrod, Michael Ball on the stop of Eric Ball.
Marv, I think you could see in that play the rookie as compared to Eric Dickerson and James Brooks. He ran laterally too far on that play. When you get that counter play running, you got to turn upfield as quick as you possibly can. Of course, that's a play that Ickey Woods ran very well for Cincinnati last season.
Second down and 8. Cincinnati from its 37. And Esiason completes to the tight end Rodney Holman, who's had an outstanding afternoon. Herrod on the tackle. First down picked up by Holman.
Holman's third catch for 51 yards. You'll watch outside James Brooks. There's Holman, 82 on Herrod, 54. Just a timing pattern. Another first down for the Bengals in a critical drive.
Well, the Indianapolis Colts defensive unit doing the job. Last week they held John Elway to 0 touchdown passes. Cincinnati scoring by virtue of the field goal route thus far today. So Esiason has been held to this point. Now has a first down at midfield. Off the play action. Esiason going up front to Martin. And a flag is down. An interference penalty on the free safety, Mike Pryor.
Last night, Ron Meyer told us he thought Boomer Esiason and the Bengals were the best team in the NFL at the play-action fake. The best in the NFL at the play-action fake. And that time, drew everybody up. Pryor had no choice as McGee got behind him to interfere with him and save the touchdown.
And it was Tim McGee. Let me correct myself. I said Mike Martin. It's McGee who was hauled down by Mike Pryor. So the penalty on Pryor and a first and goal at the 8. Ball off the inside handoff. So the question here, can the Bengals get into the end zone? They have been here on several occasions earlier today.
First half, they had a 3rd and 1 at the 10, and they lost a yard. 3rd and 8 at the 11, incomplete pass to Tim McGee. 3rd and goal at the 5, and they get no gain, so it's 3 field goals.
Now they have a 2nd and goal at the 4. Brooks and Ball in the backfield. And Esiason with the time. Intended for Brown. Ball on the coverage.
Again, the Colts have done an outstanding job down here. I mean, the Bengals have struggled, but a big part of it is just the defense of the Colts. They've been all over those receivers in the end zone.
Esiason with a 3rd and goal from the 4.
Thrown behind Eddie Brown.
Once again, Ball and Brooks, the running backs. And let's see, it is ruled incomplete. He did not have possession. Eddie Brown bobbling as he tried to stay in bounds but could not.
This is a great quick move, but he just can't hang on to it. So again, he bobbles it once, he bobbles it again, no catch. Good call by the officials. That's 4 times inside the 10-yard line, and they're lining up for a field goal again.
It is a 4th and goal.
Please reset.
From the 4. So
45-second clock for 30 seconds. Thank you.
The Bengals will line it up with Jim Breach, who is hit from 30, from 29, and from 23, looking to break the tie.
Each team has certainly given the other one a lot of opportunities.
And this, a 21-yard attempt. Turk Schonert will put it down. And Breach able to drill it through. So Cincinnati takes a 12-9 lead with 9:22 to go in the fourth.
Anheuser-Busch. We brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Road Handler Treadlock Radials at Sears. Tough tires you can trust.
Welcome back to Riverfront Stadium. Marv Albert with Bob Trumpy on the field goal by Jim Breach. The Bengals have taken a 12-9 lead. 9:22 to go in the fourth quarter. Lee Johnson with the kickoff. Verdun on the return. And a good one. Runs it out across the 30-yard line. Run out by Ricky Dixon. And the Indianapolis Colts return to the offense. It's been a long rest for Eric Dickerson. We will see quite a bit of him on this drive.
Second half, the Colts have done an excellent job of getting the ball up and down the field, but just one touchdown to show for it. And the Bengals had the ball one more time. You see just 3 points out of that. You mentioned Eric Dickerson. The Colts have 29 rushing attempts today. Dickerson has 25 of them for 116 yards. His first 100-yard rushing day in 4 weeks. And you're right. He's going to get it a lot here.
Jack Trudeau looking at a first down from the Indianapolis 31. And they go play action. Trudeau incomplete, intended for Andre Rison. Ricky Dixon on the cover.
Excuse me. I do not like that call. I really don't like that call. They have run the ball so well with Eric Dickerson. Really put a lot of hurt on the Bengals defense, and then they go play action pass and try for the low percentage completion. Now they're faced 2nd and 10.
Well, I think encouraged by the successful play action earlier in the game, looking to surprise the Bengals on first down, but it's a 2nd and 10 at the 31. And now Dickerson. Only a short pickup. David Grant there to make the tackle on Dickerson. Philadelphia Eagles now with a 10-0 lead on the LA Raiders. Randall Cunningham with a 1-yard sneak, and Luis Zendejas hit from 34 yards away. Marino has thrown for 2 for Miami. Buffalo over the Jets. Buffalo looking to go 5-2. Houston with a 24-0 lead. Kansas City over Dallas, so the Dallas Cowboys headed to 0-7. 3rd down and 8. Sideline and almost picked off. Dixon with a shot at it. The pass intended for Pruitt. And the crowd reacting to the defensive effort by the Bengals.
The receiver slipped. Pruitt slipped, so he could not come back for the football. Now, the last time the Bengals did not score an offensive touchdown, Marv, Super Bowl 23 against the San Francisco 49ers. Colts have done an outstanding job of keeping the Bengals out of the end zone.
Ron Stark will punt from behind his 20 to Mike Martin. And the fair catch at the 28-yard line. 8:11 remaining in this fourth quarter. 38-yard punt will put Cincinnati back to the offense when we return. Lost to Miami last week. Sam involved in another close game here today against Indianapolis. He is a very superstitious guy, so you can imagine what is going on in his head right now. Look at some of the superstitions on the part of Sam Weish.
He does not watch the game review on Saturday with the team. His secretary, Sandy Schick, is ill, and every week she gives him a good luck message. Last week she didn't. He spends the night before the game about 45 miles from here, comes back in town at 5 o'clock in the morning, goes through the real rough parts of Cincinnati to kind of collect his mind. So he's hoping one of those superstitions pay off.
Pass intended for Brooks, and nearly picked off by Ball on the deflection. It will be a 2nd and 10 at the 30-yard line. I'd like to accompany Sam on one of those drives at 5:30 in the morning through the quiet streets of Cincinnati.
Well, you know, the way he helps the homeless in Cincinnati, he is all over the place, and he's their hero. I mean, people come out of the darndest places to wave at Sam Weich, and they're not people you want to invite to dinner, but they are people that Sam Weich cares very dearly about and tries to help in any way, shape, and form he can, including socks and underwear.
It is a 2nd and 10. James Brooks with the short pickup. Harvey Armstrong on the stop.
Now, I don't mean Sam Weich's socks and underwear, but homeless people are given coats and jackets and shoes. The donations are made, and Sam Weich has made a deal to get them some of the essentials.
Yes, he's been very instrumental, as has Boomer Esiason, in supplying, as you put it, socks and underwear and other articles of clothing to the homeless of Cincinnati. So when he is driving through the downtown area at 5:30 in the morning, he is greeted like he is a hero, because there are folks who are up throughout the morning hours. All right, Esiason in trouble, and it is called in the grasp. L. Thompson and Dwayne Pickett combining, and that is the 2nd sack of the day. Ezra Johnson had the earlier one.
Well, I think what the Colts have done today is blitz more than the Bengals expected them. You see 50 Dwayne Pickett coming. We've seen Chip Banks all over the place. That time they come in the defensive back blitz. There's a 6-man rush against Esiason, and Donnell Thompson, along with Dwayne Pickett and Ezra Johnson, right there to make the sack.
And Lee Johnson will punt from his 8-yard line. Punting for the 3rd time today. Clarence Verdun is back. Thus far, he has been held in check. That was almost blocked. Good punt by Johnson. And gets the roll. Verdun. He's gone. Found the opening. What a move. He had very little room along the sideline, but he was able to take advantage. So a 56-yard punt is nullified by that run by Verdun as he went 36 on the return.
Now, it appeared that Lee Johnson punted this ball away from Verdun, but look at the bounce. If he doesn't catch that ball, it goes back to the 5- or 6-yard line. Then when he gets to that sideline, that great speed of Verdun, Ira Hillary finally makes the tackle. He gets to the picket fence, and the Colts have outstanding field position to start this game-winning drive. 6:50 left in the 4th quarter.
This a very important game for both clubs, both coming off defeats, both teams playing poorly in the 2nd half. Cincinnati coming in at 4-2. They lead the AFC Central by only 1 game. Indianapolis tied for 2nd in the AFC East with a record of 3-3. However, Buffalo well in front in their game against the Jets. Coming up as the 2nd part of a doubleheader, New England, San Francisco, or Denver and Seattle. Doubleheader day here on NBC. Colts 1st down from their 44-yard line. And again, Dickerson has handled well. Combination of Jason Buck and Reggie Williams combined on that stop.
Again, Jason Buck, 99, right over the center, jumps inside the left guard Dixon, and he kind of blows it up a little bit, and Reggie Williams is there to make the contact. Ends up being a yard gain, and again, the pressure on that Cincinnati Bengal defense.
Dickerson has gone for 119 yards, 27 carries, so he is right back, getting over that hamstring pull. 2nd and 9. Trudeau looking downfield, and it was nearly picked off. Pass intended for a leaping Bill Brooks.
Trudeau had to throw that ball high. There was coverage underneath him. Phillips and Thomas were both there. Colts had a slot formation. Now watch the coverage underneath. He really had to get the ball up because Eric Thomas was underneath there. Just a little too high, and Brooks couldn't come down with I'd watch Albert Bentley right here, number 20. He's the guy who is great in these situations, Marv.
The crowd to its feet for a 3rd down and 9. And it is broken up. And it was Albert Bentley, the intended receiver, coming out of the backfield, but not able to hold on. Why were you looking for Bentley?
Bentley in that double wing situation. He's sitting up about a yard off the ball. He is an excellent receiver, runs fantastic patterns, and normally has very good hands. Now that ball I thought was catchable. He should have had that one. He looked like Jack Trudeau's primary receiver. He's just brilliant at that spot.
Another quickie series, though, for the Colts. And Ron Stark back at his 41 to punt to Mike Martin. Martin down to the 10. 6:02 to go in the 4th. Bengals lead it by 3, 12-9. Colts tried to keep it away, but it carries in. And they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. It will go down as a 43-yard punt. Well, the Raiders back. This game number 3 for the new head coach Art Shell, has won his previous 2. Miami in front of Green Bay. Buffalo maintaining the big lead on the Jets up in Buffalo. Jerry Glanville having a delightful time in the House of Pain against his good pal Chuck Noll. Kansas City and Washington in front. Tampa Bay coming back at RFK. First game ever for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Washington. Coming up, either New England, San Francisco, or Denver and Seattle. 5:53 to go in the 4th quarter. Bengals back to the offense with that 12-9 lead. First down at their 20. Here's Ball. Tried the change of direction, but covered up. Eric Ball is a tailback playing fullback. He says he's an in-between player. Bigger than the average halfback, but smaller than a lot of fullbacks. He is almost the same size as Ickey Woods, but obviously the Bengals miss the running style of Ickey.
Yeah, I think Woods has got about 15 pounds on him. This play run right at Chip Banks, 51, behind Joe Walter, the tackle, making his first start in about a year. Colts stand up that offensive line. Very little room there for Ball to run.
Picked up 2, 2nd and 8 at the 22-yard line.
Look at the Colts changing their defense, trying to disguise what they're doing on every play.
Esiason, and he is taken down by Pickett. That'll be another in the grasp. And the crowd reacting, they felt it was a quarterback call.
Grasp and control.
3rd sack of the day for the Colts. In the grasp and under control, says the referee Bob McElwee.
They run a game up front. Pickett comes to the inside. Bob McElwee in protecting the NFL quarterback. You see the game on the right-hand side of your screen. All of a sudden, Pickett appears, grabs a hold of Boomer Esiason's shirt. Now, Pickett is a big linebacker, 6'5", 250. I think that's a good call. You're trying to protect that guy. In a lot of instances, he's your entire franchise.
2nd sack of the season for Dwayne Pickett. 3rd down and 20. And Brooks with the head of steam. He fumbles, and it's recovered by the Colts. Dwayne Pickett all over the field has come up with the fumble. So the Colts will take over down around the 15-yard line. What a series from Pickett. First the sack, and now the fumble recovery.
Brooks gets through the line of scrimmage. They've got the defense spread out, but someone hits him from the side. I could not pick up the number. Right there's where the contact is made. It's 27 Taylor. Keith Taylor makes the contact, and Pickett is on the ball. Best field position of the day for Indianapolis. Here comes Dickerson. Watch, he pops right through there, and then Taylor hits right on the ball.
Colts first down at the Cincinnati 16. And Dickerson with the hole gets inside the 10. The Colts trailing the Bengals by the score of 12-9 with 4:15 remaining in this 4th quarter.
Now the Colts would do very good to take their time here. No hurry to get to the line of scrimmage. Just be very deliberate. Make sure they can hear. Make sure everybody knows what the play is and keep giving it to him. Eric Dickerson.
2nd down and 3. And it's Dickerson close to the 1st down marker. Scow and Hammerstein along with Fulcher on the gang tackle of Dickerson, who is short of the 1st down. Donaldson at center, Dixon and Hutt at the guards, Hinton and Call at the tackles. An enormous offensive line. The same can be said for the Cincinnati Bengals. 3rd down and 1. The ball at the Cincinnati 7. Dickerson, and we'll have to wait until they sort it out.
He got it.
Yes, he did, as McElwee gives the indication. It is a 1st down for Ron Meyer and his Indianapolis Colts.
Nice lead block by Albert Bentley. You're not looking for a lot. All you're looking for is a double team somewhere. Dickerson lowers that shoulder, and again the strength. He looks like a gazelle when he comes outside, but he is a tank inside.
1st and goal from the 5. Al Bentley for a couple. So Bentley, the first back coming through.
Timeout.
And now the timeout taken by Cincinnati. They want to stop the clock before the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Jack Trudeau over to the sideline to chat with Ron Meyer. Ron Meyer, man who turned the Colts into contenders, taking a team that had won only 2 division games in 2 years to an AFC East title in 1987. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the National Football League is prohibited. This game the property of the National Football League, all rights reserved.
Bob, while Jack Trudeau was at the sideline, the Bengal defense went to the sideline to talk to their defensive coordinator, Dick LeBeau.
And when we resume, it will be a 2nd and goal at the 3. New England and San Francisco, or Denver going up against the Seahawks in Seattle as the 2nd part of our NBC doubleheader, following the Bengals and the Colts.
Coming this way, Marv, coming this way.
Now play action. Trudeau with lots of time. Bentley could not hold on. He was covered by the linebacker, Reggie Williams.
Marv, you could tell that the play was coming this way, that they were looking in the end zone on this side. Bentley was up there to the left, just in front. Nice play action fake, but it really didn't fool anybody. You see Bentley kind of breaks the pattern, looking for a dead spot between the coverage men. Reggie Williams is the closest guy, could not make the completion. Well, here's a big dilemma. If you're Ron Meyer, you don't make it on 3rd down. You go for the win, or do you go for the field goal?
You got to go for the tie. But we'll see. 3rd and goal at the 3. Trudeau to put it up again, and he bloops one for Bentley. Touchdown! He found Bentley in the back of the end zone, and the Colts have moved in front of the Bengals.
It appeared his feet came down in bounds, but this is always subject to review. There was a little lob pass by Jack Trudeau. Let's see if we can pick up Bentley. Runs the circle route. Good hand fighting there. There you see Bentley. No question his feet were down. No question. Man in coverage there was Robert Jackson. And Bentley makes a huge catch for the Colts.
And for Albert Bentley, it is his first touchdown of the season. Here is Dean Biasucci. So Biasucci able to put it right through this time, and the Colts take a 16-12 lead. No problem with the snap in this instance.
Marv, again, Bentley was up in the double wing situation where he's a primary receiver. Just up to the right, you can just see Robert Jackson, 37. And watch the hand fighting. There it is. You see Bentley gets away from Jackson. Trudeau just kind of puts it up there. Jackson, the only man in coverage. 41, Wilcox with the hit. Both feet inbounds. Nice drive. After the turnover, the fumble recovered by Dwayne Pickett. Now the Bengals need a touchdown to win.
First time the Colts have led this afternoon as we sweep around our 10-minute ticker. Herschel Walker did score a touchdown on a short run for Minnesota. 2 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter here in Cincinnati. Indianapolis Colts in front of the Cincinnati Bengals by the score of 16-12. All last season, the Bengals never lost 2 straight games, and that is certainly in jeopardy here this afternoon. And 2 straight at home. The Bengals had won 12 in a row at Riverfront before losing to Miami last week. Jennings and Hillary are back deep, and Biasucci will kick it off. Stanford Jennings to the 10. 20. Took a hard hit, reaching out near the 25.
Now we got a tough choice for Bill Muir, the defensive coordinator of the Colts, as the 2-minute warning comes down. Do you stay with the same defensive game plan you've had throughout this fourth quarter, or do you turn conservative? That's what we'll see in a moment. Bengals in the second half have not really been able to function very well offensively. Have not really gotten the ball down the field. Great pressure on Boomer Esiason, and that's the dilemma that Sam White faces. Are we going to see blitz like we did throughout the second half, or are they going to go back to zone a little bit, keep the ball in front of them? And if you're Bill Muir, the defensive coordinator of the Colts, that's the decision he must make. There's Bill right there. Jeff Herrod on one side. Do we stay after him, put pressure on them, or do we drop back and cover?
Cincinnati from their 25-yard line.
Colts with 6 defensive backs, Marv.
And here's Esiason, and hit from behind this time. 4th sack of the day by Indianapolis. This time it was John Hand.
John Hand was right on Joe Walter. Walter playing the first time in a year. So they're continuing the pressure.
A loss of 5. 2nd and 15. Cincinnati in the attack offense. And it's completed for the first, just short of the first down. Eddie Brown right near the marker. Picked up 13 on the play. 4th catch for Brown. And yes, it is a first down.
And this is definitely the hurry-up offense now. With 1:37 to go, 2 timeouts, this is the hurry-up offense. They'll call more than one play in the huddle, and then there's also an automatic play. So they have 3 plays to go on. Colts continue with 6 defensive backs.
McGee left, Brown right. And Martin, 88 in motion. Esiason. It is picked off. It is Keith Taylor once again. His 2nd interception of the day and number 5 on the season.
Ball was intended for Mike Martin. He ran a circle route out of the backfield. Keith Taylor was back there kind of spying on the offense, stepped right in front of the reception. We should be able to see this. We should be able to see this all unfold. Martin is the primary receiver. There's Taylor. About 5 yards in front. Esiason never saw him. And Esiason does finally get him out of bounds. That's the 3rd turnover by Cincinnati. The Colts also had 3. Well, this is a ball club, the Indianapolis Colts. They've lost 3 games. And the 3 losses they have are two teams whose record combined for a 15-3 record.
Boomer Esiason came into today's game, intercepted only twice at the top of the quarterback rankings in the AFC, but he's been picked off twice by Keith Taylor. What a turnaround in the life of young Keith Taylor. He's had a rough time in college. He broke his neck in an automobile accident. Then a year later, hit by a truck, which broke his arm. Still able to hang in. Completed his college days at Illinois. And here he is in his second season in the NFL. And he has intercepted Esiason twice. He has 5 for the season, among the leaders in the AFC in that category. Minute and a half to go in this fourth quarter. Here's Dickerson finding some room. Dickerson breaking tackles and taking it home.
And it looked like he pulled his hamstring again. So they just get him back and healthy, and he has a wonderful performance, and now he's pulled his hamstring again.
And the Cincinnati Bengals cannot be pleased about the defensive effort right here.
No, I think they felt the Colts were just going to run into the line of scrimmage and run the clock out, and Dickerson pulls away. It looked like right there he may have pulled his hamstring. Underneath handoff, he bounces outside. Fulcher misses him. 70 Scow misses him. Nice block by Rice in 85. And he's into the end zone.
And here is Biasucci. So the Colts breaking it open with 1:22 remaining in the fourth quarter. They now lead by the score of 23-12.
You can see he's limping right there. He may have extended himself beyond what his hamstring could handle, but still a great day.
152 yards on 31 carries, and the one touchdown. He went 21 yards for the TD, and now Biasucci will kick it off. Thanks to our producer Glenn Adamo, our director Dick Klein, our statistician Mr. Stats Elliot Kalb, and our spotters Doug Kidd, Bill Schwarberg.
You know, Marv, at the outset of the ball game, we mentioned we needed somebody with a big running game. There he is.
And it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, and today's MVP, that man, Eric Dickerson. And Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. So 152 yards for Dickerson, bouncing back. He had only 35 yards last week against the Denver Broncos, bothered by the pulled right hamstring, and he came up big here this afternoon. So the Bengals will drop to 4-3. Next week they're home for Tampa Bay, concluding the 3-game homestand that has been bleak. And then they play 2 straight on the road as Stanford Jennings returns. He breaks tackles and runs it out to the 40-yard line. Taken down by James Pruitt. The Indianapolis Colts next Sunday are home for the New England Patriots. Bob and I will be on hand at the Hoosier Dome.
5-yard face mask, defense, 5 yards from the end of the play, first down.
All right, off that face mask. Ball is advanced. Following next week's game against New England, it'll be on to the road. Colts will play at Miami and at Buffalo before returning home to play the Jets. Turk Schonert has come on, replacing Boomer Esiason, who had himself a workout. He took some pretty good pops, sacked 4 times in all.
And pressured all day long. Now, Esiason's up. He's standing on the sideline, but Schonert comes in to mop up, I guess is the best way you could put it.
Esiason's stats end up 14 for 31, 169 yards. The crowd reacts with 1:05 to go as the Bengals go to the ground. Stanford Jennings on the carry. But of most significance, Esiason was intercepted twice, both by Keith Taylor. Time running down as the Indianapolis Colts are on their way to a record of 4-3, but not able to take advantage because Buffalo in the process of knocking off the Jets.
Well, this game is easily capsulized. The missed opportunities by the Bengals in the first half keep the Colts in the game for the second half. But, they hammered it. Ezra Johnson, John Hand.
And they are just teeing off now on the Cincinnati quarterbacks. Sack number 5. That will be a combination for Hand and Johnson. Ezra coming up with one earlier. Second half of our doubleheader, you'll see either New England going against San Francisco, Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh bringing you the action as Bill makes his return. That game being played at Stanford in Palo Alto, California, because of the earthquake. Game moved to the campus of Stanford. Or some of you will see Denver going up against Seattle. And that will do it. Not a happy day for that man, Sam Weish. Only 4 field goals to show. The Cincinnati Bengals not able to get across the goal line. Jim Breach equaling a career high with the 4 field goals. The Indianapolis Colts breaking it open in the fourth quarter, led by Eric